A plane took off, hundreds of people on board, then suddenly nothing, no signal, no trace. Let's dive into today's story. Welcome to Secret Drip. In the early hours of March 8, 2014, a commercial aircraft sat on the runway, ready for departure. The passengers were already seated, some awake, some tired, some scrolling through their phones, others already drifting into sleep. For them, this was just another flight, a journey from one city to another. Nothing unusual, nothing dangerous. The aircraft was Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. It departed from Kuala Lumpur heading toward Beijing, carrying 239 people on board. Passengers from different parts of the world, families traveling together, individuals heading to work, flight attendants trained to handle emergencies, pilots experienced and trusted. From the outside, everything looked perfect. The plane lifted off smoothly into the night sky, lights fading below, darkness surrounding it. Air traffic control maintained communication as expected. The aircraft climbed to cruising altitude following its planned route. Everything was routine, everything was normal. And then came the final message. At exactly 1:19 a.m., the cockpit transmitted its last known words. Good night. Malaysian 370. A calm, standard sign-off as the aircraft prepared to leave one airspace and enter another. There was no fear in the voice, no urgency, no sign that anything was wrong. But just minutes later, the plane disappeared from civilian radar. Not gradually, not slowly, instantly. One moment it was there, the next moment, gone. At first, it didn't seem like a crisis. Radar losses can happen. Systems can fail. Communication can drop temporarily. But as time passed, the silence continued. No signal returned, no message came through. And that's when concern began to turn into something more serious. Then came the first discovery that changed everything. Military radar data revealed something unexpected. The plane hadn't just disappeared, it had turned. Instead of continuing toward Beijing, the aircraft made a sharp deviation from its path. It reversed direction and began flying back across the region away from its destination. This wasn't random. This wasn't drift. This was controlled movement. Someone had made that turn. And from that moment, the situation became something far more disturbing. Because the plane didn't crash immediately. It didn't fall from the sky. It kept flying. For hours. While it had vanished from standard radar systems, a satellite network continued to detect faint signals. These weren't full transmissions. They were simple handshakes, automated pings sent between the aircraft and a satellite. No voice, no data, just proof of existence. Proof that the plane was still in the air, still moving, still somewhere. Investigators used these signals to estimate the aircraft's path, and what they found was chilling. The plane had traveled along a long, curved route stretching deep into the southern Indian Ocean, one of the most isolated, empty places on the planet. No cities, no witnesses, no easy way to track anything. Just vast, endless water. And somewhere along that path, the plane disappeared forever. The search that followed was unlike anything seen before. Countries across the world joined the effort. Ships were deployed, aircraft scanned the skies, satellites combed through data searching for even the smallest clue. The ocean was vast, but the determination to find answers was even greater. Days passed, then weeks, then months, and still nothing. No confirmed crash site, no major wreckage, no black box, no answers. For the families of the passengers, time felt frozen. They weren't just dealing with loss, they were dealing with uncertainty. Because without answers, there is no closure. Only questions that repeat over and over again. What happened? Where are they? Why did this happen? As the investigation continued, theories began to emerge, each one trying to explain the unexplainable. One theory focused on the possibility of deliberate action, that someone in the cockpit may have taken control of the aircraft. The change in direction, the disabling of communication systems, the continued flight, all suggesting a level of intention. But there was no clear motive, no confirmed evidence, just pieces that didn't fully connect. Another theory suggested a sudden loss of cabin pressure, a scenario where oxygen levels drop, causing everyone on board to lose consciousness. In that state, the plane could continue flying on autopilot, silent, uncontrolled, a ghost flight moving through the sky until it eventually ran out of fuel and fell into the ocean. Then there are the more controversial ideas, theories involving hijacking, military interference, hidden operations, even claims of cover-ups. These theories spread quickly, not always because they are true, but because people are trying to fill the silence. Because when there are no clear answers, the human mind doesn't stay empty. It creates explanations, even if they're uncertain, even if they're uncomfortable. But here's what makes this case truly unsettling. In today's world, almost nothing disappears completely. We track everything: phones, cars, flights. There are systems built to prevent exactly this kind of situation. And yet, this plane vanished. Eventually, pieces of debris began to appear. Small fragments washed up on distant shores, parts of the aircraft confirmed through analysis, proof that the plane had indeed crashed into the ocean. But still, no main wreckage, no exact location, no final explanation. The ocean kept its secret. Deep beneath the surface, in darkness and pressure that humans can barely explore, the truth remained hidden. Years passed. The search continued, then slowed, and eventually, it was suspended. Not because the mystery was solved, but because there was nowhere left to look, no new clues to follow, no new direction to take. And that's what makes this story so haunting. Not just the disappearance itself, but the emptiness that followed. Because imagine this, a plane full of people, lives, stories, families, taking off into the night. And then nothing, no goodbye, no explanation, just silence. Somewhere out there, beneath miles of ocean, the truth still exists. Unseen, unanswered, waiting. Maybe one day technology will advance enough to find it. Maybe one day the mystery will be solved. Maybe one day the families will finally have answers. Or maybe this will remain one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in modern history. A reminder that even in a world of advanced technology, there are still things we cannot fully understand. Because sometimes the sky doesn't give answers, and the ocean doesn't give anything back. Like the mystery? Hit like and subscribe to Secret. The truth is still out there.